Hi, everybody. Okay, so I'm really looking forward to this. I've been thinking about it all weekend. The guys went to the market, and I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall for this one. The grandson and the husband at the market, and right now these bad boys are going for $3.39 a piece. Okay, and they made sure that I got my money's worth, or $3.39 a pound, something like that. No, $3.39 a piece. They made sure I got my money's worth, and they one by one put each one in the produce scale and got me the two biggest ones. You know, you gotta enjoy that kind of commitment to my food projects. Okay, so we are going to be making cauliflower rice, and over the course of this week, I am going to be tossing out a few different versions of cauliflower rice for anybody that's interested in doing it. I have grown very fond of this, very fond of this. A serving size for me is a cup, and I believe, I can't remember exactly. I'll find out the stats and put the card in here for the carbs and the calories and all that for a cup of cauliflower rice right here, so that you know it's easier to know then what you're dealing with. Now, spices do have some carbs, and that's something, if you're really going to dig down into it to figure out, I will refer you over to Keto Connect, which is a really great keto low carb vlog, video channel. They do a whole bunch of everything, and they have a lot of really great information when it comes to the low carb, high fat, keto way of eating. And they did something on spices, so I'll refer you to that here someplace. Okay, so I've got this great big beautiful head of cauliflower. What I'm going to do to start off with is I peeled off most of the green stuff, okay, and now I'm going to chop it up. So let's get you readjusted so you're down there. Okay, so according to my handy kitchen scale, this is a 3.5, just over 3.5 pound cauliflower, okay? What I did is, while I was talking, I peeled off a bunch of the green leaves. What I'm going to do now is cut it in half, because I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this by portion size, really. I'm going to take all of these, I want to make these little florets, okay? And I'm going to throw them into my food processor. Those are going to come off as I cut it open. I'm going to do about half of the cauliflower, and then I'm going to grind it up, and then we will measure it and see how much I get out of that, because like I said, I portion control by the cup, okay? So you're just going to take them, snap them off, and if you don't get that out, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. I have gone to the trouble of pulling a whole bunch out, and I have gone to the trouble of not touching it. Okay, so what you may or may not see, there we go. I've got my handy dandy Ninja. Now, if you don't have one of these, it's not a big deal, guys. Use your any kind of food processor. In a pinch, you could probably use a blender, but you would only do a little bit at a time. Okay, blenders don't beat it up quite as much as a food processor does, so you only want to do a little bit at a time to get the best results. Okay, let's see here. Brought you up for a different vantage point. Okay, so that's not the whole thing yet. And the fun part about this is, if you don't get them small enough, it doesn't do anything to them. So you really want to try to break them into as small a piece as you can. As you see, once you take the core out, this is half of that 3.5 pounds broken up in here. Okay, so that's what I've got left, is just that. Okay, so we're gonna snap our lid on, and this is raw. You don't cook it or anything, guys. It's just raw. Snapped into place. Okay. Do you see? I'll bring you in closer. I feel like I've got, the car where I'm going vroom, 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 vroom. Oh, see, now this is perfect. This is perfect. Let me bring you in, okay? Cauliflower rice. Let me see how I can do this here. Okay, can you see that? And so it's just that really great, oh, that's crowd. That's lousy. Okay, so it's that really great, it's just like rice. I mean, it's just totally beaten up to that teeny tiny little bit. Let me do this. See? And it's just raw cauliflower. Okay. Sorry. Okay, so a half of a 3-pound cauliflower makes about 5 cups. So that's 5 servings right there. That's awesome. That's awesome. I mean, really, does it get any more economical? My goodness. And cauliflower, the price of cauliflower is a bit high in my opinion, but I also know that I'm incapable of growing it. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to take you over to the stove with this 5 cups of riced cauliflower, and let's see what kind of magic we can work up. Okay, so I've got my trusty cast iron skillet here, and I'm going to put it on about medium high. Okay, I'm going to put in, I don't know, a couple tablespoons of olive oil. You can use butter, you can use lard, you can use olive oil. Those are the only 3 you'll ever catch me recommending. Okay, then I'm going to put that 5 cups of riced cauliflower into the pan. I may end up adding more oil because I'm always afraid of it not being moist enough, even though cauliflower is a very wet vegetable. But that should be enough, actually. Mix it around, get it nice and coated, because you're gonna do that a bit once we get moving here. Now, what I'm doing tonight, in case you couldn't tell by the title card, was a simple Mexican-style riced cauliflower. Simple meaning I'm adding spices to it. That's it, okay? If you want to get a little more technical and do the math for the carbs, absolutely. You can do, imagine, you know Spanish rice? You could do a Spanish rice with cauliflower. Or you could do, yes, that'd be it, Spanish rice with cauliflower. Add some just a tiny bit of finely diced tomatoes and a little bit of onion. I mean, when I say just a little bit, guys, I'm saying 1/4 to 1/8 a cup per 5 cups, okay? Keep those amounts small because otherwise, well, you don't have to, but if you're going low carb, that's definitely what you want to do. And onions have an amazing amount of carbs. Tomatoes have an amazing amount of carbs. So you want to watch what you're doing where that's concerned. But if you're just making the dish because it tastes good, add whatever you want to it. I think this has to be one of the most forgiving vegetable creations you can do. Seriously, I might have been eating cauliflower years ago had I known about cauliflower rice. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do a Mexican one. I have my trusty 1/4 teaspoon and I have my 1 teaspoon. So what we're going to do for 5 cups is we are going to put in a 1/2 teaspoon of chili powder. I'll put this down in the comment section below. A 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder, if I don't make an absolute mess out of it. That smells good. A 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder. That was a very generous 1/2 teaspoon. And a 1/2 teaspoon of cumin. You can hear that just sizzling away. Okay. And then, to give it just a teeny tiny itty bitty bit of heat, I'm going to do a leveled off 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne because, like I said, it shouldn't hurt you. Okay. Now I'm going to take it, I'm going to get that all mixed up, really work it in there with the oil and the cauliflower. Seriously, you should smell this. You know, I think I am going to add up a little bit more oil. But this smells so good, you guys. Now, you can cook this however you prefer this kind of thing. For me, I like to brown it a little bit, but not too much. And I'm for cauliflower, I'm talking about just getting on the cusp of brown, okay? That's why I'm kind of put the oil in there. Otherwise, just heat it up enough to where the cauliflower is cooked, which doesn't take very long. And this smells so good. And as you can see, it's still clear. It's still a clear color. Now, when you use butter, I tend to prefer salted butter because keto is what I'm cooking for the most part. And I need the salt to avoid leg cramps and all kinds of other fun stuff. But if you don't need or want the salt, then I would leave it at that. Unsalted butter. That's the one benefit to putting butter in there, is that if you use salted butter, then you don't have to worry about any other kind of butter. I'm going to add just about another tablespoon. So that would put me at about 3 tablespoons of olive oil. Okay. So now that's cooking up. Seriously smells so good. Now, if you want to get real creative with this, I'm going to turn down the heat just a little bit. If you want to get real creative with this, you can brown up some ground beef, or put some kind of shredded chicken or venison or beef in there with it, and mix it up, and it's an all-in-one. What you want to make sure to do if you're doing low carb or keto, though, is to keep track of the amount so that you can regulate what your portion size is, because that will obviously change the stats on it. I just stir it. It's a nervous thing that I do. I hate getting it stuck to the bottom of the pan. Okay. You guys, that's it. That's it. It's that easy. It's that easy to have a tasty, healthy, low-carb vegetable at your table. And normally cauliflower smells, you guys. It's just what we have to live with. However, this doesn't smell so bad. Yep, I like that, but because I do want salt, I'm going to add salt. That's less than 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt in there. And now I'm going to let it cook up a little bit more because that was still very, very raw. Do the oil, the butter, whatever, to your taste. I do prefer it wet. Oh yeah. You could even, if this wasn't flavorful enough for you, you could increase those spices to what you want. I would start out at this level. Yeah, I would start out at this level. Whoa, there's the burn too. Start out at this recipe and then build up if you like. I would almost think I would add a little bit more chili powder. I don't know. I think it's good the way it is. So there. Now a cup of this with about 3 ounces of cheese is a perfect lunch for me. I am completely satisfied until dinner time. No cravings, don't even think about food, which is really a phenomenal thing for me. So if you're looking for low carb and tasty and good and super fast and easy, this lifestyle doesn't have to be difficult, you guys. Doesn't have to be difficult. Then you just cook yourself up some Mexican cauliflower. And the only reason it's Mexican cauliflower is because it has the equivalent of taco seasonings in it. But don't buy those packaged taco seasonings. Throw your own spices in there and adjust it to your taste. And it's really good. Really good. And like I said, that's 5 cups. So those measurements are based on 5 cups of cauliflower. Okay? So now the fun part is that once you cook it down, it shrinks. Always forget about that part. So the raw cauliflower was 5 cups. When I cooked it down, it made it down to 4 cups. Okay? So that's something you have to take into consideration too. So what you want to do, probably the easiest thing to do, is to figure out your ingredients, toss it together, and then measure it out afterwards. Never a dull moment with me. Remember, I'm not an expert. Okay, I'm just showing you what I do. And I have to tell you, I am in love with this. I am absolutely in love with this, and I will be repeating this often. This is like the perfect lunch for me. So until, let's see, it's just, yeah, it's the perfect lunch for me. So now if I decide I want to get a little creative, I can actually cook up a scrambled egg and toss it in there too. I can cook up some other vegetables or a little bit of meat and toss it in there too, but that's fine just the way it is. It really is, and it's just the right size lunch. Like I said, I do a cup of that and then 3 ounces of like cheddar cheese, and I am completely satisfied for lunch. So, and it has the right amount of fat. It has everything. It's just perfect. It's the perfect lunch. Okay. So, that is our first round at cauliflower rice. And so it's a Mexican cauliflower rice, and we'll be using the other half a head for another recipe tomorrow. So we will talk to you tomorrow. Until then, remember, if you like what you see here, please hit that like, subscribe, share. Please share with all your friends. And you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Okay? So until next time, please be safe. Bye.